everyone, and welcome to the Indie Author Life Show. This is a space dedicated to sharing the unique stories of authors and creatives within the self-publishing space. So my name is MG Hunt, and today I am here with the fantastic, wonderful author SK May. Thank you so much for being here today. Now, actually, I should ask you before we get into it, is it okay if I refer to you as Simone, or would you prefer SK?
Yeah, that's fine. Yes,
Okay,
that's
cool.
fine.
Oh, thank you so
Most
much.
people know me as Simone now.
Yep, it's out. It's out in the world.
Yep, it's out.
I mean, people know me as Mon or Monica, whatever.
Oh, God.
It's you can call me whatever. So, no, thank you again
Mm.
so much for being on the show today, Simone.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm so excited to get into it because I should preface this by saying that you were the author that launched the Indie Author Life show because
Right?
because you were my first person that I interviewed. The first episode of the official Indie Author Life show was yours. And I remember it because I was thinking about doing some podcast interviews and all that stuff. And you messaged me after I put out that call out and you're like, I'll do it. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And we did it. And I caught the bug for it because I realized, wow, I love getting to know what people do in their own
Yeah,
indie author life because it is so different, but also very similar to what other
yeah.
people do.
And you've got a real skill for it too. You're a really good interviewer. Like you
Oh.
should have been a journalist or something.
Ah, you're too kind. And I'm just curious. That's really it.
Nothing
Just
wrong with curiosity.
I love hearing about what other people get up to, which is why I'm very curious to get into a lot of stuff that has gone on in your world in regards to the new worlds that you have created in your writing. Yes, exactly. So behind
Nothing wrong.
Simone's head, we have a selection of books, which is the Whispers series, which was completed. When was it completed? Last year? Middle of last year?
Yeah, May last year.
May last year. So it's almost been a year for the Whispers trilogy to be released. And then after
God,
that, we went into his Inferno, and it was called the Coven and the Marked series.
yes.
And then we're going to pivot once more to the Hidden Heirs. You've got a lot going on.
Just a tad.
Just a tad. But when the creative spark ignites, this is what happens. So, getting into when we look back at when you wrote your first trilogy, the Whispers trilogy, and when you look back at those early books, what aspects of your writing do you feel like have grown or changed the most as you've developed your author voice?
Oh God. Uh, a lot.
Mm.
Seriously, like I did start writing Heirs first, to be honest.
Mm.
So Heirs book 1 and 2 was done, and then I've almost finished book 3, but then I had to put a pause on it because of everything with the publisher, which got me into Whispers. And I think from book 1 to book 3, I think you can tell how much I grew
Yeah.
because everything was explained, but it wasn't explained well enough, to
Yep.
be honest.
Okay.
And I think by the time I got to book 3 in Whispers, I think I kind of almost nailed getting all of that detail in
Mm.
and not just telling, but showing at the same time. Because sometimes I'm very brief in some explanations. And I know that because I'm so not a perfect writer and I have a lot to learn. I really do. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love writing is
Mm.
because you constantly learn and adapt and evolve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like with Whispers, I stayed true to spoiler, um, the whole Larissa not using contractions, which is what upsets a lot of people because they're like, why can't she just speak normal? And I'm like, it's a hint. Like, it's a full hint on why she doesn't do it, because she is the reincarnation of someone else from, way back thousands of years ago. And way back then, they didn't use contractions. They
Mm.
spoke the long way. They would say, do not do that, not don't do that.
Yeah.
So, you know, writing in that aspect and then going straight into Inferno, which was completely and utterly different.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, okay, it feels weird to write with contractions now.
Just something so small, but yeah, because
I
it's
know.
a modern
Yes.
change to it.
Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
just like, Jesus, this is weird.
Mm.
But
Mm.
yeah, I think I've just slowly started growing, like adding more detail, understanding the characters and their actions a lot more. And I think those are the two things that I've worked on. Like, everyone's always said the same thing. You're
Mm.
very immersive with your writing, but I think I'm slowly getting better and better at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it is
So
a bit of
yeah,
an art to work out how much detail to put in versus what needs to
yeah.
be told in the story. And I can imagine that, like, well, my inclination is the same as you, where I think I'm just going to focus on immersing people in the world through action. But as you were saying, there is an art to padding more of the detail in artistic ways that I'm definitely still learning.
Like my new editor, when she started working on airs, she literally turned around and said to me, "I want you to work on this again." And I'm like,
Ah,
"Excuse me."
wow.
Like my heart broke, and I'm like, "Oh my god, it really is that shit." It's just like, "Oh my god, this is terrible." But we had a meeting, and she goes, "No, it's not terrible." She goes, "I know where you're going, but the problem is the reader has no idea where you're going."
Wow.
She's like, "So you're expecting them to know that this has happened without telling me that this has happened?" And I'm like,
Interesting.
"Oh, I screwed up there."
Oh,
So what started as the original rewrite from 145,000 down to 112,000 went back up to 130,000.
okay.
And
Okay.
I was like, hmm.
Mm. But that's okay because you still did trim off some fat when it
I
was
did.
before. So there was an improvement that was there. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
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 That's
It's interesting.
amazing. Very interesting. But I think that you're the same as me, where I think that sometimes we just keep going and go, oh, okay, this word count has really ballooned out. Can't help it. It's the creatives in us.
Yeah. Like, I literally, Chris goes, "Oh, how big do you reckon her ruin's going to be?" And I'm like, "Look, I'm a little concerned." And he goes, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm only sitting at 35,000 and I haven't covered this, and this yet."
Mm,
And he's like,
mm,
"Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, I was kind of hoping to keep it the same size.
hmm.
I don't think that's happening. I really
Interesting.
don't."
So we'll have to
So,
see where it goes because I do want to get more into the Coven and the Marked series, which first of all, really enjoy that title. I think that's great. I love that. The Marked.
mm.
Hmm. Very interesting part of it too.
Of course, it's a clue for stuff. You have to just see.
That is one thing in your titles with the Whispers series as well, is that you do have to look at the clues. You have to
Yes.
look, and you have to look at the
Yes.
book cover too.
I know everything I do is a clue for certain things. And when people finish it and they look back and they go, all the answers were literally right in front of me. I just didn't think about it. I'm like, that's me. Like,
That's it.
everything's there.
Everything is there, and it's fun to put little Easter eggs and stuff. And you just have to, and then it's one of those things. It's kind of like a good marketing strategy because if you missed those parts, well, you just have to
Yeah,
reread it again.
exactly. Exactly.
Oh, I love it. No, it's super cool. It's super smart. So when we move into the Coven and the Marked series, I'm really curious to know what sparked the idea for this new world. And if any experiences from the first series being Whispers, I know that technically, yes, the Hidden Heirs was very much your first, but I feel like Whispers may have lent itself to the creation
Yeah.
of Inferno. So tell me about it.
So Inferno wasn't actually part of the fantasy realm when I first started it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was actually designed to be a mafia book. But then I was
Yeah.
like, you know what, mafia, I love reading mafia. Like I love those dark men. Seriously. I don't know what it is about dark romance, but I love it.
It's very popular.
It is, but I was like, I kind of want to do something different. As
Yep.
you know, with me, I like to play around with things and twist
Mm.
things, like with whispers. The twisting of the mythology that's in there. So I was like, I'm gonna throw a bone and see if this sticks. So I was like, what if I make it mafia with witches?
Mm.
And then as I was developing it, I was like, what if I bring in like the basics of like almost Christianity at the same time with Adam
Yeah.
and Eve? And I was like,
Mm.
okay. So I went down the rabbit hole of research and I was like, okay, can I link this to this and then this and this? And then had to re-go through my my Bible studies.
Oh,
Uh,
oh my goodness. There's a lot. There's a lot.
there is
Mm.
because like I am a Christian and no, I'm not one that has a lot of prejudice. I don't care what anyone is.
Yeah.
This is just I believe in God.
Hmm.
That
Yeah,
that's me.
totally.
And I was just like, okay, I've got to go back through the Bible and I've got to find a link between this and this and then everything all lined up. And I was like, oh, this is great.
That makes
So
sense.
yeah, what started as a mafia book turned into mafia with witches and fighting and a basis of theology.
Yes, theology and specifically Christian theology with because
Yes.
there is a lot of interesting stories in the Bible and being a
Mm,
raised a Catholic and going to Catholic school, I know that look
yes.
I didn't really enjoy going to a religious school. However, one part about religious education that I found fascinating is the history, but also the stories that are told in the Bible. And there
Yeah.
is just so much that you can look into and explore. That was the one
Yeah.
part that kind of kept me hooked. So I'm really interested to see more about your exploration into theology, Christian theology. Because when you think about Christianity as a whole, it does tend to veer on the I was going to say puritanical, but I don't know whether that's the right word. I guess like a pure sort of
Yeah.
um there's stereotypes around Christianity being um
Yeah.
pure. But I can imagine your series is not pure.
Yeah, they definitely break the Ten Commandments. It all started like, and I explain it to readers at events. I literally say the magic system was created from Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
The two of the first humans. Eve turned around when she got kicked out of the Garden of Eden for biting into the apple.
Yeah.
She goes, you know what? Screw you, God. I'm going to create magic.
Yeah.
So she threw her hands into the dirt and created the four different elements. And then Adam goes, in his anger and, his frustration, how dare you leave me? I'm going to create witch hunters. So there's
Mm.
that complexity of like, we've created a magic system and then we've created another system where we don't like the magic at the same time. So
Yeah.
you'll have to see what happens in book two, but I'll just say that there might be some angels and demons in book two as
Yeah.
well.
I love it though. I think that it shows because there is a part of with Adam and Eve and the story of creation in Genesis where it really does paint women as evil
Mm.
and as
Yes.
really starting something that shouldn't have been started. And we're always
Yeah.
seen as like the antithesis to the I don't know, the status quo of what is right for
Yeah.
mankind in quotation
Yeah.
marks. And I love how you've explored that being like, no, this is how powerful women can be
Yeah.
and
Because
yeah, as
like
you're saying.
in their ceremonies, they're like praise be to Eve, so that there's no praise to God. It's praise to a female.
Love it.
So it's
Yeah.
very much a feminine world and
Yeah.
women, as much as there are still those men who don't respect women, there are a lot of men who are like, no, we wouldn't be here without the existence of women. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of societal reflections in it at the same time.
Yes, yes. So for people who might not be familiar with his Inferno to start off with, Is it an urban fantasy or is it a high fantasy, or are there crossover elements?
They, I'm I actually don't know how to classify it
Yep.
because it is technically an urban fantasy, but then it's also classified as a dark romantasy at the same time.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
So, like, and I
Mm.
remember I was talking to Laura from Hummingbird who edited it, and I
Yep.
was talking to her about it, and I'm like, I actually, because she goes, oh, it's paranormal because it's got witches. And I'm like, but as much as
Hmm.
witches fall under the paranormal, like that's the extent of the only paranormal. So
Interesting.
is it, and we both didn't know what to classify it as,
Yeah.
to be honest. So I've kind of said it's a mixture between an urban fantasy and a dark romantasy. So because it's got the fantasy elements, but I don't know if you can classify it as paranormal if it's only got witches.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense to me because
No.
when I think about, for example, I'm thinking about another book that I really like that has witches in it, which is uh the Midnight Gate series by another
Oh,
SK
I
Stepper.
need to read that.
Oh,
Need to read
you will love it. So good, so good. Um, so she has some there's like a witchy element, coven element to it. But it is strictly high fantasy because it's a completely different
Yeah.
world. So I guess yeah, it's one of those things because it's like, do you call it paranormal because you're in like an urban setting and then there are witchy elements in it, which is where it veers into paranormal. But then it's like,
Yeah.
well, if the whole world is fantasy, then is it paranormal? Oh my God, I don't even know.
Yeah. So this was where my confusion was.
Yeah,
Like, it is, but it's
yeah,
I don't know.
that's fine. You've explained it for there's elements of all of that stuff in it.
Yes. Yes.
There's just a lot of stuff. And if you like
Yeah.
witches and you like some darkness and you like subverting stereotypes around Christianity and theocracy, then this is the
And
series for you.
if you like an alpha asshole, as he's been called,
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Actually, yeah, sorry, keep going.
he's the man that you hate to love.
Interesting. Yes, we
That's
should
what
get
everyone has
into
said
that.
to me. They're like, he's a real asshole. Like in the first chapter, he's torturing someone.
Oh,
Like
okay. Arsehole
literally the first
material.
chapter, he's torturing someone. Like that's how cruel he is.
Mm,
And like they see the cruelness, but then when it comes to Daniela, like I can't say more because it will, mess with the dynamic they've got going on.
yeah.
He's still an asshole to Daniela, but at the same time, he's not because
Mm,
he sees something. And I think this is where it shows the age gap. He sees something that not many other people see.
interesting. Okay.
So yeah, he's an asshole, but you kind of love him for it.
Interesting. So, with your readers, do you find that a lot of people are really like they still want to love your male main character, or are people finding it hard to get over the torture part of it?
Look, he's torturing a witch hunter. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
So like it's not as if the person didn't deserve it. This person was,
Hmm.
hurt some of his coven members. So he
Okay.
he was retaliating. Not that it's okay to retaliate, but
But that's the story.
that's his thought process. Like you've harmed someone I care about. I'm gonna go back to you, which is where the mafia aspect comes into it at the same time. Their
Hmm.
brutality and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like even the people who have been readers since the first airs,
Yeah.
even they're like, I still love him.
Wow.
They're like, your character progression where you've had, Sebastian and Alexander, Nick and Roman, and now you've got Drake. They're like, I just there's something about Drake that he's an enigma.
Yes. Yes.
And
People.
they just they can't put their words to it, but he's just like he'd do anything for Daniela. He's
Yep.
very much, I would actually burn the world down for her.
Yeah.
And I think in those last chapters, it literally shows, his devotion to her.
The
And for
devotion.
those who've read it, I still apologize for that ending, but as I do love it. Um,
Typical SK
his,
May behavior. But anyway.
oh no, this was next level ending. Trust me.
Can't wait to get into it. Yeah.
Like we thought book 2 of Whispers was bad with that death, but
Mm, mm.
no, Drake's ending was yeah.
Drake. My goodness. My goodness. My goodness. I
Yeah.
think he's definitely an enigma. And so
Mhm.
getting into with so basically my perspective when I was looking at your social media and you advertising for this next series, I remember seeing some uh, content that you put out around the character of Drake and automatically thinking this is now into like an even more seriously hyper masculine, like real, we've just upped the temperature level from Whispers, which I already thought, and I'm a bit of a novice when it comes to romance levels and spice and all that stuff, but I was already thinking, okay, Whispers is, that's spicy. So the next one being his Inferno. Yeah, I think you really upped it, didn't you?
Yeah, like it as you know with Whispers, like there wasn't a lot of spice in book 1, but then book 2
Hmm.
it increased, and then book 3 it increased further.
Yeah.
Um Inferno kind of increases again, and I think people rate it between a 3 and a 4 chili.
Yep. Yep.
Like
Yeah.
so it is a lot spicier, and I didn't intend it that way. And like when my husband read it, he'd call me after every spicy scene. He goes, "Do I need to be worried about you?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I just read the scene where that and that and that happened, and Simone." And I'm like, I said to
Maybe.
him, I said, and at the time when I was writing it, I think, or just after, that song came out where it's like the voices in my head go. Yeah,
Yes,
and I
yes.
said to him, like, he's a voice in my head, Chris. Like, it's just I hear him talking and it just comes out. Like it's not actually me writing that stuff. It's Drake, and he's just got honestly a high sex drive.
That's it. And that's his character. Yeah.
Yeah,
So your
yeah,
husband was kind of like a soundboard for, because he reads your stuff and he's like, I've met him. He's always encouraging of
yeah,
you, which is just amazing. I love that, first of all, that you've got such a supportive husband in your space and someone who
yeah.
really is on board with your stories because he knows what happens in the stories too. Like some partners are
Yes,
just like, oh, you do your thing and whatever, but no, he
yeah.
really cares. And that's super special.
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have stopped.
Wow.
To be honest, he's the
Interesting.
one who's like, no. He goes, this brings you joy. He goes,
Amazing. Yeah.
because like when I first started writing, it was to get over grief.
I
Essentially,
remember.
when I started Whispers in 2016, I'd lost my grandfather, my father, and my grandmother in a short period of time.
Yeah.
And my grandfather and grandmother were my mother's parents.
Yeah.
So my mother had lost her entire support network in 3 years. So she fell to pieces.
Yep.
She wasn't coping. So,
Yeah.
little 26-year-old me took everything from her.
Oh,
I had to be what she needed to get through that. So my grief took a back door.
yep.
And
Yep.
I don't regret that decision because it was what she needed.
Yeah.
But as you know, you can only bury grief for so long.
That's right.
It's not, it's really not healthy. So
That's right.
when I had the dream about heirs,
Yeah.
started writing it. So all of those emotions were going into that.
Wow.
And then when I finished it in 2019 and stopped writing, I was like, what do I do now? And then I didn't write until 2021,
Mm.
2021, 2022,
Yeah.
when I had postnatal depression.
Yeah.
So writing Whispers, again, another, outlet for me. And then my husband goes, I don't know why you just don't keep going. He's like, he goes, you work through what you're feeling in these books.
Bless you.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I do. So, and then when Heirs got published, he's like, yep, let's do this. And
Yeah.
then when everything happened, as you know,
Yep.
um, he's like, why don't you just do it by yourself? And then
Exactly.
Whispers came about, and he's just like, just keep going. Just
Just
keep
keep
going.
going. Just keep
Yeah.
going. And you're doing it. You're thriving. Could you, like, where you see yourself when you first started writing to where you are now, which has been
10 years.
over, you
10
said
years.
20, yeah, that long, your
Yeah.
growth, you
Yeah.
have those publications behind you and more
Yeah.
coming out very soon. How incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so special. And that's one of the best things about being the creative. Yes, it can be so exhausting at
Emotional.
times. Yeah.
Yes.
So much goes on in our heads, but as I say to other people before, like I wouldn't trade the chaos that goes
Yeah.
on for anything else because I'm aligning with what I want to do. And
Yeah.
it's so special that you honor
Yeah.
that passion to write. Yeah.
It really is. Like,
Mm.
I'm sure you might be at your day job and you're
Oh
doing
yeah.
your job, and but your brain is literally thinking something else at the same time. Like, I'll be there and I'll be teaching. What was I teaching the other day? Livability to my year sevens,
Yeah.
what makes a place livable, and analyzing Australia compared to some countries that don't have as high livability, and discussing, what makes them this and that. But in the back of my head, I'm literally thinking, okay, with Drake, I can do this and I can do this.
It doesn't stop.
It doesn't. Like,
Nah.
it just keeps ticking and ticking. And then people in my office go, Simone, you're typing really fast there. I'm like, yeah, I had an idea in class. I've just got to get this down.
I relate to that so much where there'll be times where I'll pull out my notebook at work and I'm just like writing away. Or when I have an idea and I open up the laptop, like just at home, and Word doesn't open fast enough for me. And I
Yes.
get so annoyed. I'm like, just
I'm like,
open.
just turn on.
I need to do it now. If I don't do it now, then it's not going to come out.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get lost. That's hilarious that you find all those
Yeah.
ideas or you have those like thought processes happening at work. And I don't know how you can do it when you're teaching as well, because the brain just happens like
I
that.
don't know how I do it either. Like,
It's just
considering
you.
the a million choices that you have to make in a classroom at the same time, like, okay, I've just handed out the work. I know I need to check in with you, and you, because you have learning difficulties
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, so I've got to go, you, check on these guys, got to do this. Okay, he's swinging on his chair. He's got a pair of scissors in his hand.
Oh,
Okay, that kid, you know. So my brain is literally like doing
everywhere.
40 million things at one time while Drake's in the back of my head going, oh, don't forget about this, Simone. Don't
Yeah.
forget. I want you to make sure that I do this. And I'm, shut up, Drake. Shut up.
Just let me chill, Drake. Okay, I'll deal with
Yes.
you later. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. But right
But he's
now,
very persistent.
that man, he's just there. That go on. And I'm the same because when I am at work, sometimes some of the stuff that I do is pretty like methodical and very
Yeah.
just like editing another document and all that stuff um, from a graphic perspective. So my mind will wander into, oh, I gotta put that there, gotta do that, oh, I gotta message that person back and all that stuff. Not only writing
Yeah.
related stuff, but also the marketing related stuff. And you just kind of go, it doesn't stop.
And then your podcast too.
Oh yeah, that old chestnut that I do as well. So, but with podcasting, I always feel like I'm like more relaxed and it just feels like I'm just chatting to people,
Yeah,
which
true.
I always feel like is one of those fun parts about the author stuff. And you know what? Most of it is fun. It's just like it does require a bit of work sometimes. So
Yeah.
you give and take.
The questions and, the scheduling. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. But I think I'm at a point now where I'm doing okay with everything. So anyway,
Yeah.
enough about me. We need to get more into your series and your stuff. So for his Inferno, being the first book of the Coven and the Marked series, we have Her Ruin, which is next. When can we expect Her Ruin to be released?
Look, I was hoping May.
Yep.
but that means I kind of need to have it finished by April, which is what 3 days away.
Yeah.
Um, it's sitting at 35,000, so I don't think it
Probably.
could still be done by May. It really, really could still be done by May, but it
You
all
push.
depends on, you know, well,
Yeah.
I've got school holidays coming up, so I will have some more time to myself. It all kind of depends, but yeah,
Oh,
I'm
I-
thinking it might be more June.
you know what? Even June is incredible,
Close.
Simone, because you say like, oh, I'm at 35,000 words. I could get it published in May, and I'm thinking that's a whole month. Like
I
it,
know.
it's taken me 3 years to finish my first draft for Darkness in the Flesh. I don't know how you do it. You're amazing.
Well, it took me, oh God, about 6 months to rewrite Airs, and
Wow.
like that was probably the longest it's taken me to do that.
My God.
Yeah.
That
And
that
I
sounds
haven't
like a
even
dream.
started with two.
That's so quick for me. Like, and then you're talking about all this stuff, and I think we're just like on the polar opposites of
My
speed.
brain
Because
just doesn't stop.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
literally doesn't stop.
yep,
I wish it did, but the middle of the night, I'll have to get up with the kids because they've had a bad dream or they've just woken up and they're not settling.
yeah.
So I'll just be sitting on the bed, my hands on them because they like to have that human contact kind of thing. So my hand will be on them, my other hand's on my phone on the notes app, just writing scenes.
Wow. Just don't stop.
So no,
No.
no,
And it sounds like
but
you need that.
I think I do. I think it's very much my outlet. Like
Yeah.
I think, as someone said to me, the anger in Drake is probably a reflection of the anger that I'm internalizing and the frustration with
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that's going on with my life and my
Mm.
inability to have control of it.
Yeah.
But sometimes that happens in life, and
That's it.
hey,
Hey, you're
Drake
spitting it.
helps.
That's because it's true. Like
Yeah.
we get given something that we didn't ask for and stuff that we've
Mm.
got to deal with. And we do have choices about what we want to do. And I'm really glad to hear that you are actively working through that in a creative way. Yeah.
It's the best therapy.
That's it. Who needs to pay for extra therapy sessions or whatever? Just write a book.
Yeah. Just write my anger.
Yeah, but it's probably arguably a healthier way. Then some people,
Yeah.
yeah, look, some people turn to some stuff that is not good for the soul, and you turn to
Yes.
writing. So,
Yeah. I
but
did encourage my sister recently.
yeah.
She lost her partner or her
Oh,
ex-partner very 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 suddenly, and she's not sure how to deal with it. So
mm,
there've been a lot of like tearful phone calls, and she's just like, I've never felt grief to this extent, even after dad died.
yeah.
I just don't know how to cope, and honestly I just want to sit there and I just want to drink, and I'm like, yeah, but your liver's not going to like that.
No,
And
we
she's
don't
like,
do
no,
that.
but my brain will. And it's like, yes, but why don't you try like journaling or writing? I said, that way you are expressing those emotions and you're getting them out.
Yeah,
It's not necessarily, it doesn't have to make sense. It's just about getting out what you're feeling onto paper is a therapy in itself because it's actually helping you say the words that you don't want to say.
yeah, yeah. The ones that are just
So
circling up there. Mm,
yeah,
wow.
because yeah, she's not doing well,
Yeah.
but
It's
she's
so
getting there.
hard. It's so
Yeah.
hard to lose. It's complicated, and grief is complex,
Mm.
as I'm sure you know all too well. But you're looking
Yeah.
after yourself in the best, way that you can.
Yeah.
But on a more upbeat note, perhaps we should get into the wonderful rebirth of the Hidden Heirs, which has been a world that you created so many years ago, and now it's coming out in its new, refreshed form. Can you tell us a bit about how it has developed from its original birth to the revamped version?
I tried to find an original copy of it, but I think they're
I
still
have
packed
one.
away because I kept one. I kept one of them, and I'm like, I have to keep my baby. You
Yeah,
know,
I've got your baby up
it's
there.
my first. Yeah, but I couldn't find it. I think it's still in a box somewhere, along with all my other books that are silently crying.
Yeah.
Um, but it very much has changed. Like what I did and what I started with was I actually looked at the reviews of the original. I got a few 3 stars, so I read those because it didn't actually get any 2 stars or 1 stars. Like it hasn't
Wow.
got a lot of reviews. It wasn't on the market for very long, maybe about 6, 7 months, I think.
Mm.
But it didn't hasn't got any 2 or 1 stars. I'm like, okay, that doesn't help me. So I went to the 3 stars, and a lot of it was the frustration around Faith's character
Ah,
and why
interesting.
she did certain things, that didn't make sense to them. And I was like, okay, so I need to explain why is she like there's this one scene where they've landed in this mystery land. They know nothing about it, that they've been taken by these groups of soldiers who are wearing different clothing. They're holding swords, they're on horseback. And these men are judging them because they're wearing tiny shorts and low cut tops. And they're calling them harlots. And she's like, well, I'm really not a harlot. It's just how you dress where we come from, kind of
Yes.
deal. And they get taken to the castle, and the king goes to them, you're now my property. I'm your king, you're now mine. And she literally stands up to the king and she's like, no.
No,
And
thank you.
everyone's like, what? Why is she being this insane person standing up in this room where she doesn't know this, where she's seen these men she's been with stab people in front of her, and she's standing in front of this king going, how about no? And everyone's like, why is she doing this? It's not making any sense on why she would put her life at risk.
Hmm.
So I had to go back through and explain her thought process on actually doing that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
again, this is where like I'm still learning. I know why she's doing that, but I haven't actually explained it to the reader. I'm just assuming they should know. I'm
But that's
sorry, readers.
hard sometimes. Like it's hard because like when is it kind of, oh, you don't want to over explain. You sometimes want
Yes.
people to work out what do you think the character as you're a teacher yourself,
Yeah.
you can't just give them the answer.
Yes.
But it's hard. No, I think that you've
Yeah.
really approached it in a great way where you're like, okay, people really need some guidance
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, because there's another scene where she ends up running away, like, and she leaves her friends, and she says, they're my sisters essentially, they're my soulmates, they're my everything,
Yeah.
but she leaves them and she goes. So a lot of the
Mm.
readers were like, "What? Okay, she says she loves these girls and they're her everything. Why would she leave them?"
Yeah.
So that, like, I think that was another aspect of I need to explain why she left because I know, but the reader doesn't, And
Yes.
as you're saying, you can't over explain, but in some situations in airs, I literally had to add it because it doesn't get explained further on,
Yep.
where I do sometimes. But in those couple of scenes, I was very much like, yeah, I need to explain why she kind of tells the king to go stuff himself and why she runs away from the people she loves. You
It's
know?
complicated and there is a way to do it, but
Yeah,
it takes time and I'm
yeah,
certainly still learning how to show and not tell, but also
yeah,
knowing when things need to be up in the open for own interpretation versus what the character would do. So that has to
yeah.
come out in the writing. Oh, it's hard.
I think the other thing that I've done is I've actually increased the tension
Oh,
between Alexander and Faith.
yeah.
There's a lot more tension building between those two characters because this is a slow burn. Like
I love it.
you've got Whispers, which is a little bit of a slow burn,
Yeah.
but then you've got Inferno, which is kind of almost a fast burn. But
Yes.
then Whispers happens, and it's like, what's the spice rating? Well, probably like 0.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
because it's it's got the medieval aspect of like you couldn't be in a room alone with a girl.
Yeah,
So
right.
it was
So,
it's the stolen glances and the brush past each
It's a
other
bit
kind of,
more the
slow
subtle.
burn and the
Yeah.
yearning. So
Mm.
it was a challenge to add more of that because I was like, I know what's happening, but I have to like
Yeah.
add that tiny bit of extra detail.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then a lot of people perceived it as a what's the word when you got like a male and two males and a female, a love triangle.
Love triangle, yes. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so a lot of people, the original, they're like, oh, it's a love triangle. And I was like, but it's not a love triangle. And then on the rewrite, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to turn it into a love triangle.
Love it.
So I did.
Love
I,
it.
I added that more of that element into it of, she has these two men vying for her. One's a prince and one's a tortured, arrogant knight. You know, which one is she going to end up with?
Ooh. Yeah, that's
Find out.
right. What's
Um,
going to happen?
so it's very, very different. Like book two will probably be like a one spice.
Yep.
And then book three probably won't even be more than two.
Yep. Yep. But that's
Like
kind of
it's
where the vibe of the story really, the
yeah.
essence of it is. So it's new adult, is that right? Or would it be young adult? New adult.
Oh God, no, no, no. There's a lot of themes in it that are very much not appropriate
Yep.
for a young adult.
Yep.
Um, but it's more like the way I say it to people, it's kind of like Outlander meets Game of Thrones.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yep.
like we know Outlander has the battles with the Scottish and
Yes.
the
The English or
um English. Thank you. I was like,
yeah,
who
yeah.
are they fighting again? But
Yeah.
then I forgot. Sorry.
Don't stress. You
But
got
then
things in
there's
your head. Yeah. Lots
I
going on.
do. But then
You're
there's the
good.
Game of Thrones where you had, all these
The
families.
politics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of political stuff that happens, and like she has to figure out why she's in the middle of all this and why she's this
Love it.
pivotal, important character.
Yeah.
So it's very much like I leave tiny little breadcrumbs, and I do love that nobody's going to pick it up, but the breadcrumb that links everything is literally like within the first three chapters.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
and
So
and
that
it's kind of like this tiny consistent thing, and it relates to the person behind the scenes who is not revealed until book three, and who they are and why they're important.
you heard it here
So there's like this
first.
whole political realm that like nobody's going to go what's going on. Like there is a lot more death.
Yes. Yes. That's it is what it is. You're no stranger to that.
um, no, and I do know AL Rojo. She has
Yes.
read book two. She's one of like the few people who read book two,
Wow.
and that ending, she was like, I don't know how you just did that. Because like in the final chapters, three people die within like minutes of each other, and she's like, I don't know what just happened. I
Game of
need book
Thrones.
three. So like I gave her like the first 10 unedited, very, very rough, disgusting chapters.
Yeah.
The first things we write that like make absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
gave her those, and she's like, oh God, I already know who you're gonna destroy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting at about five people who have been, killed in book three.
You know what's going to happen next, and we're all going to be like, great, cool. So now who's left?
Like pretty much. But like this was the time though, like during medieval times, if you were seen as someone who wasn't fit, your head was taken off. And
Yeah, chop
you
off your
see that with
heads.
like the Tudors and the Yorks and all that back in,
Yes. Yeah,
the
that's
13
right.
1400s. So
That's it. That's
yeah,
it. And that's what happens. And that's historically correct with what the
yeah.
story that you're trying to tell with that. But it's very exciting to hear that it's having a new life breathed into it. So, do we have an anticipated time frame of when the trilogy might be released?
So I was hoping to release book one and two together,
Yep.
but after burning myself out last year and
Mm-hmm.
pumping out, four books over the last 2 years, I was like, I kind of need to just take and
Yeah.
slow down. So
Enjoy
this
it.
year I am taking more time.
Yeah. Good.
So book one will be coming out in July. As
Perfect.
I said on my reel the other day, like I don't care if Inferno's done or sorry, Her Ruin is done or not. It's coming July. I'm not postponing it anymore. It's been postponed for like 2 years. It's
Yeah.
coming. It's not changing.
Good on you.
Um,
Yeah.
and then as soon as I finish Her Ruin, then I'll start working on book two, which I don't think needs as much work as book one did.
Yep. Sure. Okay.
So, but I'm still going to allot 6 months to work on it. And then
Yeah.
I've at 70,000 words. The last time I touched book three, it's at 70,000 words. And I'm probably only halfway through the political intrigue.
My goodness.
So,
So probably years down the track at this point, maybe
yes,
next year into 2028. So
yeah,
that's extremely reasonable given you've got so
yeah,
much going on. And also,
yeah,
at the end of the day, you have to enjoy what you're doing. We don't want you to burn out.
yes,
We want you to
yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of focusing on. My husband's like, you've smashed out all these books.
Yeah.
I wrote book three of Whispers in 3 months, and it's 130,000 words. Like in the month of December alone, I wrote 60,000 words.
And December's always a busy time for families with Christmas, and you still manage to do that.
But then at work, it's not because I had three
True.
senior classes, so I was left with one class left to teach. So was I at my desk doing things that I shouldn't have been doing? Absolutely.
We've all been
But
there.
that was how I wrote 60,000 words in a month,
Wow. Wow.
and
Wow. Wow.
now it's like I'm not doing that anymore because yes,
Yeah.
I know I can do it, but
Yep.
it's a lot.
It's in I was going to say it's insane, but it's a
Yeah,
lot to the average person, to the average writer, and I know I'm on the slower side of things, but I can't wrap my head around it how you manage to do it. But I know that's just how you work. But if you're
yeah,
already feeling like this is getting too much, then
yeah,
it's time for you to slow down, and I think people will respect that. They always
yeah,
will. You got to keep the audience, waiting for something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And here's my baby, so I
Yeah.
want to do it the way it should have been done the first
Yeah.
time.
That's it.
So because
Yeah.
it's a story that I just love.
Yes, it's special to you. It needs to be,
Yeah.
sorry, given the best,
Okay.
yeah, possible rebirth, and you
Yeah.
deserve it. Your book deserves it.
Yeah.
And it will be a fantastic amalgamation of a lot of different trials and tribulations that have gone on
Yeah.
to get this series out. I'm really excited
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
And I love the dedication for it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wonder if we've got the dedication somewhere. Hang on, let
Do
me
you
see if
want
I
me
can find it.
to, like, as in, is it different to the original?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I can.
Okay, it doesn't want to show up. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
okay.
but it is essentially along. Where's your screen? There you are.
Huh?
Sorry.
Here I am.
It it's it's essentially like a lot of my dedications are very much to strength and this kind of stuff. And this one, I'm actually dedicating it to those who grieve.
Yeah, I love it.
Like
Yeah,
because this book was written in the midst of grief. So it's very much, for those who struggle, grief isn't one thing, it's multiple different things. And it's
yeah,
along the lines of, I hope you find, comfort in these pages while you're going through what you're going through. So,
yeah, yeah.
because
I
yeah,
love that.
it's terrible.
It is, but it needs to be talked about more. That it is
Yes.
something that we need to, be aware that it is terrible. And when you need to slow down and you need to go through things and you feel like
Mm.
crap, it's okay and it's necessary to
Yeah.
sit and grieve and not feel like you have to jump back into the, oh, everything's all good and everything's all fine
Yeah.
in the world and keep hustling on. Like, you need to grieve and do what you need to do to feel
Yeah.
better again.
Like, what was it, a couple of weeks ago? Because it's coming up to 10 years since Dad passed. So
Wow.
it's been a long amount, like a big amount of time.
Yeah.
And, I grew up with the knowledge that I knew he wouldn't be in my life for my whole life because he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, you know,
Mm,
and then he fought it for over 10 years,
wow.
and that's a good thing with stage 4.
Yeah.
But the hardest part is I'll sit there some days and I'll look at my kids and I'll just start crying
Yeah.
because
They'll
he
never.
never got to meet them,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
In this world.
And
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, and I was just like, this grief just doesn't go away. And my husband's like, you're allowed to be upset. And I'm like, yeah, but it just sucks
Yeah.
because, he never got to meet my kids. He never got to see me get married. He's never seen what I've accomplished,
Yeah.
and he was such a big part of why I started writing the book. And it's just like it sucks.
It sucks. And it's more than okay to say it. It's not a
Yeah.
bloody happy story, but
No, no.
this is your expression of it. We're all entitled to
Yeah.
that.
Well, Faith's she lost her fiance
Mm,
in Heirs.
yeah.
So I think that, her struggling with her own internal grief, we pick up the story where it'd been a year after he died, to the 1 year anniversary, and
Mm,
she's like, I don't know what to do with my life.
yeah. Yeah.
I loved this man with everything that I had, and he's gone.
And he's
In a
gone.
day, he was gone. He had
It's
he had
that
a
quick.
brain aneurysm and he died. You know,
Yeah.
and her friends are like, it's okay to move on, and she's like, but I feel like I'm betraying him.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
but you can love someone and move on.
You can do both.
So she's a very, very complex character. And I hope that I have portrayed grief very accurately because it isn't just linear.
Yeah.
It's very much
And I
a
think
roller
that is,
coaster.
as long as you feel that you've portrayed grief in the way that you want it to be, it really doesn't
Yeah,
matter what other people interpret it as, because this is your
true.
personal expression. And I think a lot
Yeah,
of people will get so much out of it, especially those going through similar things that you've gone through. And it will touch
yeah.
a lot of people in ways that probably you won't anticipate, in many fantastic ways. Yeah. It's
Well,
so,
I know
so
my
good.
editor cried. I'll put it that way.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Then I think you hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah.
It's just amazing,
There's
Simone.
Yeah. There's two scenes. She sent me a picture of her with tears and she's like, yep, you nailed the grief in this scene. I'm like, yay.
Oh my God. I can't wait. I can't wait for it. Which, yeah, there's so many wonderful things coming out in the world of SK May, which I should start to wrap up this fantastic chat that we've had today because we could keep going. We could keep going. Oh my God. It just,
We really could, couldn't
we,
we?
we've got always got things to talk about. But
We
looking
do.
ahead into the world of SK May, what is next in? Well, we did hear a little bit about your publishing schedule, but are you attending any events in the near future where people could come and buy some books from you?
I've got 1,000 Lives coming up in April 18th, I
That's
believe.
right. I'll see you there.
And then A Romantic Affair in May.
I'll be there too. Yes.
And then I've got another one in June, but I can't remember which one. It's a Meet Your Next Book Boyfriend one, but I can't remember the name. Newcastle Book Boyfriend, maybe.
Ooh.
Um, and then I think I've got one Romance on the Vines. That's out my way in Gippsland.
Beautiful.
And then I think I've got one more, and that's it because I just recently cancelled Secrets, so I'm no longer
Yeah.
attending Secrets. And I had some pre-orders for that, so I feel dreadful.
It's all
But
good.
unfortunately, I just couldn't make it work, so I had to
Yep.
pull out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I've got two interstate ones, which I haven't been announced for yet, so I can't say anything. But I've
That's
got two
okay.
interstate ones in 2027. One
Fantastic.
I just got an invitation for, so I'm very much wondering if I accept or not.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
we'll have to
Still
see.
so busy and still so many opportunities where people can come and see you and come and grab
Yeah,
some books from you. You always have a lot going on, but I'm also really glad to hear that you've taken necessary measures to protect your peace and look after
yes,
yourself and do what you want to do because the creativity and the writing practice come first, and that should always
yes,
be the priority.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. It's one of those things. I think I
Yeah.
did refer to someone. It's like an addiction. Like when you don't write for a few days, you're literally like, I need to
You
write.
need it. You need it. You need that creative
It's a
fix.
healthy addiction.
It-
Yes, it is a healthy addiction. It is
It's
not a
a
negative one. It is a healthy one.
no, it's not. Oh my goodness, it's already said that we're running out of time for our
All right.
second. Oh my God. It happens. It happens. Anyway, with that, I should say a massive thank you, Simone, for chatting
Thank you.
all about your fantastic insights into your writing process and how dealing with your real life events, your
Yeah.
traumas, your grief can be spun into gold into your fantastic writing that you've done. So, thank you so much for sharing all of that.
Thank you, Monica. I just adore speaking to you. I really do.
I'm always here, always here. Thank you so much for watching the Indie Author Life show. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you want to know more about my own literary journey or the journey of some of our guests that you might have seen on the show, please consider subscribing or following my Substack or my YouTube channel. Finally, if you want to know more about my novel, Still Waters Run Deep, it is available on many distribution websites such as Amazon, Etsy, Baventi, you name it. All that information will be in the show notes if you're interested in learning more about my story to do with elemental magic and coming of age. Take care, everyone, and see you in the next episode.